Oh, is this lighting okay? Guys, quick one. I want to refer you this book. It is the Atomic Habits Workbook by James Clear. Now, I think everyone's heard of Atomic Habits by James Clear. I didn't even know that was the author, James Clear. I think everyone's probably heard about that if you haven't read it at this point. But I would certainly recommend this workbook for the simple reason that it's super interactive. This is a super interactive book. It's not just blurting information at you and telling you what to do. It's actually kind of getting a glimpse into your life. And of course the author can't do this for you, but the author asks you questions in this workbook that you answer yourself so you can get a glimpse into your own life. And you can kind of read it back and say, oh, okay, this is working, this isn't working, this is what I want to improve, this is kind of the life I want to live. And I would recommend this book to absolutely anyone that potentially struggles with lack of focus and anyone that has big ambitions and big goals they're going towards. Pretty much those two types of people. Really good book. I want to share with you some of the kind of questions that are asked in this book. A lot of it is you can kind of just skim through it and it's just kind of repetitive information. Same as any book, really. I can't be too upset about that. I got to keep it real. But the part one is about your kind of foundations, the science of habits, a brief overview of the theory of behavior change. It makes sense. It talks about that kind of getting 1% better every day as opposed to 1% worse every day and how you'll have like exponential growth over an entire year, stuff like that, which is cool. It talks about this plateau of latent potential. Latent, I don't even know what that means. People calling it an overnight success, but really your potential at first is like this, and then it goes like this, and you might quit at this point, but then eventually you go like this. It's pretty standard. Talks about systems over goals. Talks about positive habit loops. This is a good section here. Not sure if you can read it from here, but that says your current reality. This is where it gets good. This is where it starts asking you questions about yourself, I suppose about your current reality, understandable. And you can really see on a piece of paper the big picture, if you will. You can kind of take a step back and be like, okay, this is working well and this isn't working well. This is where I want to be and this is currently where I am and what I'm doing. Is what I'm doing going to get me there? If yes, sweet. And maybe if not, what am I going to change in order to get there? It asks you about your current level of contentment with your personal and professional life on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. When you answer it, asks you to explain why that number is the number you've chosen. Makes sense. Your top priorities at the moment. What are you optimizing for right now? What major projects are you working on? How are they going? Why did you start them? What are some non-negotiable obligations in your life right now? Again, you don't have to buy this book. I'm telling you what's in this book. You can answer it for yourself. It's very, very simple. It then asks you to do a kind of time and energy audit of your entire week. Obviously, I'm not going to spend a week doing this, but I am making a mental note of my time and energy throughout the day. Are you most energetic in the morning, where you're going to produce your best work? Are you more of a night owl and you like being out at night? That's where you produce your best work. You'll feel like you're most productive or literally have the most energy. You find out for yourself. A few more questions that are asked are, what are the major ways you're spending your time right now, for good or for bad? How many good, high quality, high energy hours do you have during your day? What hours are they? When you're feeling energetic, when you're feeling productive, when you're feeling on top of it and you're taking action, what are you actually getting done? As opposed to maybe what you could get done later in the day, in the afternoon, during the night, whenever you're least productive and you have the lowest energy. Next question is big picture. What feels like it's consuming more of your attention or time than it should? So these are all good questions. At the end of these questions, it kind of says, all right, based on this, take a step back, reread them, reflect on them, and what do you think is the next best step for you? Really, that's the key to, I suppose, change. It's taking a look at where you are right now and objectively looking at what's going wrong and what's not going wrong, and then just making a change for better or for worse. Usually not for worse, I'd hope. Who the fuck's going to change for the worst? But changing for the better, it's pretty simple. You're not doing well in this area. Let's say you're a fat bastard. Well, you got to lose some weight somehow, in some way. You got to eat better. You got to sleep more to get the rest. And you got to work out. If you're a skinny bastard and you want to put on muscle, it's the same thing. You be in a calorie surplus, you eat a bunch of protein, have a good diet, lift heavy weights, sleep, repeat, consistency. It's the same with absolutely anything. Your work, your personal life, your family life, your faith, anything. change for the better. And you can do that on a daily, a weekly, a bi-weekly, a monthly, an annual basis. Pretty simple. It then asks you about your past attempts. What are some things you tried to change in the past successfully and unsuccessfully? Always good to be honest here. Bit more reflecting stuff. It asks you to list out your habits in the morning and in the evening. Then you give them a score, a plus for this is a good habit, an equal for this is a meh habit, and a minus for this is like a detrimental habit. This is not positively impacting me in any way. It's negative. You'll notice when you do that, which is something you should be doing, time can be wasted, and probably is wasted every morning and every evening. Not during business hours when you should be making your money and stuff. There's probably even more during those times. But just your morning routine and your evening routine, there's a lot of time being wasted. It asks you to name out all your habits, give it a score, and then give the score reasoning. For example, if you're wasting a bunch of time in the evening as opposed to preparing for your day in the morning, your reasoning might be, well, I could be getting valuable sleep right now. I could be speaking to a loved one right now. Instead, I'm wasting time on YouTube or something like that, right? Could be that. So, change for the better. What are your key takeaways? Blah, blah, blah. And here's another good part of the book. Where do you want to end up? So this is cool because it's essentially where are you right now? Where do you want to end up? And then a chapter after this is, all right, how are you going to get there? This is how you're going to get there with this habit stacking thing, which really you can disregard, if I'm being 100% honest. This book is good, not because of the massive information it gives you, because it asks you good questions that force you, and you should be, forcing yourself to be honest with yourself. This is what I'm liking about this book. I would never refer a book like this. Like, everyone talks about Atomic Habits. Every self-help dickhead out there, everyone with a corporate job, they're always on about books like this, Atomic Habits. Like, bro, I've heard enough about it. But believe me, I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't truly believe that this is a good workbook. And again, it's because of the questions it's forcing you to ask yourself. So you don't need to buy this. I'm telling you the questions it's asking you. It asks you about what commitments you have, make your commitments you already have, and those you would like to have in the future. What commitments do you not want to have in the future that maybe you have now, or in the future you don't want to have, whether you have them now or not, it's irrelevant. Think about how you want to spend your time is basically what it's asking you. Now think about how you want to spend that time and when you want to spend that time. Is this habit going to be in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening? How's your ideal day going to look? Then it says look on the answers on the previous page, look at your answers on the previous page, and reflect on what you've learned from these exercises. What did you learn about what you want and what you want your life to contain? And what did you learn about what you don't want and what you don't want your life to be like in the near future? Then I'd ask you to dream big. What are your major goals you're coming into this process with? Name your goals. Be honest. If you're not being honest, you're just doing yourself a disservice, honestly. You've got to be honest. And then it tells you not to be vague because people say, yeah, I got a goal to do this. When? Oh, just in the future. It tells you don't be vague. How goal setting is about change. If you'd already achieved your goal, you wouldn't have to change anything. You're going to have to change some things, hence where the habits come into it. Righty. What major changes are you willing to see and sacrifice in your life? What major changes do you want to change in your life? And what does success mean to you? Because success means a bunch of different stuff to a bunch of different people. Define what success is to you and focus on that, because that's what you're aiming for. Write out your vision for how you want each domain of your life to look. Not all these areas are as important as the other. Skip over them if you want, but here are the areas. Physical well-being, your mental health, your career, relationships and social connections, learning, financial security, financial freedom, recreation, fun, creativity, community and contribution, spirituality, family, and legacy. Now, essentially what it's telling you to do is set a few goals for all of them. And then you want to essentially create an identity. This is another bit it talks about in the book, but create an identity and then the habits that support the identity. Then it actually talks about goal setting and where you don't want to be. There's actually an entire section on where you don't want to be. What it says is, now look at the different exercises you've used to envision where you want to end up. What patterns are you seeing in what you've brainstormed? What are you learning about what you want out of life and where you want to end up? Make sure that that's where you want to end up by writing down what you don't want. Write down what you don't want. Can be bullet points, could be a paragraph, could be an essay, don't care. Write down what you don't want. Just that alone, you could read that every morning or once a week when you're feeling a bit low and be like, oh shit, I'm on the way to that. I should probably switch on. I should probably wake up. So just that alone, I would recommend. And then you set some goals. And as you can kind of see, this book is about getting you toward those goals. Pretty standard, pretty basic. It just implements some systems for you, or tells you how to implement systems for yourself. But again, not going to stress it enough. This is a good book. And again, it's not good because it's information packed and all that. It's good because it forces you to think. So many people, me included, you can go months and months without thinking, like critically thinking, which is kind of crazy. But you sometimes just have to kind of take a step back on your own life, career, relationship, business, personal life, whatever, and just be like, alright, cool. This is how it's going. Whether I like it or not, this is how it's going. This is the direction I'm headed in for the near future. Am I happy with this or am I not happy with this? Do I want to change? Yeah, I do want to change. What do I have to change in order to change my results? Because at the end of the day, what you're wanting to change is your results. No one cares to change the input if the output, if the result isn't going to change as well. If you wanted a different result, but you could have the inputs the same, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, so buy that book if you want. If not, just re-listen to this video and all the questions I read out from that book. You can write down on a piece of paper. You can give yourself an assessment right now. Make it into a visual board. I don't know. I don't care what you do. Use Claude, use ChatGPT to make it into a visual representation of what you do want and what you don't want. And be super specific. And again, be honest with yourself. Doesn't have to be from this book. It doesn't have to be the questions I just asked you. But take a step back, bro. Reassess your life and change for the better. Anyway, that was me talking your absolute head off. I want you to go ahead, like this video, comment, subscribe, and follow my Instagram. It'll be in the top link in the description. DM me there if you need. And by the way, watch that other video that I've pinned in the description too. That's a really good video. All right, peace out, boys. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye. 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 Bye.